Hi, I'm Larry King, and I'd like to introduce you to someone who's been a guest on my show several times. He has a story that's very compelling, and you should listen.
Meet speaker and New York Times best-selling author Michael Hingson and his guide dog, Africa.
Michael Hingson has been blind since birth. Michael was on the 78th floor of the World Trade Center, the one building, the North Tower. He was guided out by his guide dog, Roselle, and another colleague. All right, what happened? What do you remember?
There was an incredible bang, sort of a dull thud, but certainly very tremendous, and then the building shook very violently, and I remember sort of going, God, don't let that building tip over.
The tragic events of September 11th are still ingrained in Michael's memory. Ten years later, Michael had the opportunity to return to New York, to grieve, to remember, and to move on.
Michael Hingson of Nevada is a hero with a best-selling book. He is also blind. Michael and his guide dog survived the World Trade Center attack on 9/11, but that is just the start of this incredible story. In tonight's Assignment 7 report, a blind man teaches us what vision really means. Michael Hingson and his guide dog have no problem with escalators. Michael has been blind since birth, but he can get along just fine pretty much anywhere. On this day, he's speaking to the California State Association of Counties. He's telling these government leaders how he finally convinced a computer company to hire him as a salesman.
Because as a blind person, I have had to sell all my life just to be able to function. I've had to sell to be able to ride a school bus. I've had to sell to be allowed to go on an airplane with my guide dog.
Michael and his guide dog, Africa, travel all over the world, giving talks about trust and teamwork, the moving from diversity to inclusion, and overcoming everyday challenges. Michael has taken the tragic events of 9/11 and turned them into an inspiration for audiences everywhere.
Basic and important skills I think that I have ever been taught, and that is the concept of being part of a team and to put my trust in the other team member, specifically in this case a dog. I learned that I would be putting my life in that dog's paws every day. And then he yelled, "Mike, my God, there's fire above us. There's smoke and there's fire and there are millions of pieces of paper falling outside the window." And David yelled, "We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here right now." And our guests began to scream. And I said to David, "Slow down, calm down." And he said, "No, we got to get out of here right now. We can't stay here. We got to get out. There's fire and there's smoke." And I said, "David, stop." And he did. Now, here's the blind guy telling the guy who could see the smoke and fire to stop. I've already learned something new here today. I heard the tin, "Hup!" And then I never did hear Eddie's. It's now "Seats, everybody." Is that a new military command?
In 2011, Michael had the opportunity to tell his story of trust and teamwork on 9/11 in his book, Thunderdog.
You all know that you are indeed part of a team.
Michael's inspirational and motivational talks have made him an audience favorite wherever he goes.
To turn liabilities into assets. The first letter I wrote was the usual, "Here's my resume, yada, yada, yada." And the last paragraph said, "By the way, I want you to know something about me, and it's the most important thing that you can take into account when you make your decision, and that is that I am blind.
Various speakers on teamwork before, but I think Michael's talk was probably the most compelling that I've heard.
It's probably one of the most important things to us to work as a team. There's so many people, none of us can do the job alone, and we all rely on each other.
Mr. Hingson and Roselle showed all of us today that without having that trust and line of communication from both ends, that you cannot work as a good team. You will not function properly.
In 2011, Michael Hingson and his guide dog Roselle were celebrated at the Hero Dog Awards in Los Angeles, California.
My former guide dog is one of the 8 finalists in this award, Roselle. This is Africa, who is her stand-in. We worked in the World Trade Center on 9/11 and escaped because of the teamwork of Roselle and me, and the solid, just steadfast commitment of Roselle to do her job.
And the 2011 American Hero Dog is, this is very exciting, Roselle.
It's not the award, it's just what Roselle has stood for. I can only thank you all and tell you that we are so overjoyed. Africa is doing her best to live up to Roselle's paws. I think that every dog in this room, and all of you who are humans, who are so close to dogs, are all heroes as well. And I want to thank you on behalf of Roselle and my family. You know, in a human-animal bond, only one side can betray the trust, and it isn't the dog. It isn't the animal. We all have to become more trusting, and I pray that we can help through this ceremony and the ones to come, and dogs like Roselle, that we can show the value of teamwork and make this a better country. Thank you all, and please just help the good guys win.
Very, very inspirational, and we can bring all of what he said into our own lives.
Michael has a master's in physics, he's written a best-selling book. He and Roselle were celebrated as heroes. Still, he says he's not that unusual. With a little help from a good dog and good technology.
This device I have here is called a note taker.
Most blind people can accomplish a lot if you just give them a chance. Remarkable guy.
He is such an inspiration.
Tremendous.
Great story.
Michael and his guide dog Africa are available for speaking engagements and public appearances. For information on how to book Michael at your next event, visit www.michaelhingson.com or call 415-827-4084.